stumped him. He stumped him. He stumped him. Nice block. Wow. Great penetration. Surge through the middle of that. Michigan State first and goal. Yeah. Outstanding play.
Well, good evening. Welcome back.
Whoa.
Somebody's popping bottles over there.
Hey.
What?
What's going on?
Whoa. Somebody's celebrating something
How
over
y'all
there.
doing today? Good evening.
This is Brian Musalam alongside your co-host Jason Strayhorn. We are here inside the locker room, and it is a pleasure to be here. What is the celebratory occasion over there?
It's a good day today. I'm just happy. There's no reason. I mean, it's a good day to be alive, right?
Oh, it's a blessing. Absolute blessing.
I love it.
It is. It is. You looking
got
good.
that Bel Air, some of that rosé, that Rick Ross, man.
Wow.
You know?
You got that Barney purple on?
Yeah.
You looking?
Hey, it's for the kids, man. I look hip. Come on now. Don't hate on me with the white
kids?
T-shirt. You cannot hate on me
kids?
wearing that white T-shirt.
On, which kids are you wearing that for?
Huh?
Whose kids are you wearing that for? You look sharp, though.
It's for the guys that, you know, class of 21, 22, 23, 24,
Oh,
25, 26. Hey, listen, I got nothing to do with the recruiting. All I know is it's a good day today.
It is
Tomorrow
a
will be
blessing.
a better day. Day after that, Friday's going to be even better day.
Ah, well, it is a blessing. It is a blessing. So, you have a good week?
You know, not bad. Not bad. Busy, you know. Saw some movie stars last night. Yesterday at with Mark Wahlberg, we had a golf outing at the Detroit Golf Club here in the city of Detroit, over on 7 Mile. That was fun. George was there, my broadcast partner, and just to kind of consolidate this and summarize it all, the word from George Blaha was, "Is there anyone here that's not important?" The only person that wasn't there was you, but everybody else, he said, "Man, it was a who's who. It was great time yesterday."
I mean, importance is a value in which you give yourself, or somebody gives you. So, I mean, sometimes that word's a little overused, over-exaggerated, you know. But it is a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to see you today.
Yeah, it's great.
I saw Cam Newton got cut, huh?
Cam Newton.
Wow.
I mean, Belichick really
he wasn't messing. I mean,
man, Asante Samuel, he's not too happy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Whew. He said, he's just a regular coach without Tom Brady.
Oh.
Ouch.
Wow. Wow. So who's gonna start then?
It looks like the rookie's gonna start at quarterback.
Wow, that was interesting. What kind of cut ahead against a cap was that? I mean, how much? What kind of? You're cutting Cam now,
yeah,
and you're, you know.
Do they care about that?
No,
nobody cares about it.
No,
they don't care about it. Our beloved Lions clearly don't care about it.
Oh no, they don't. They don't,
because they had some cap space. They had a little $2 million guaranteed contract that they just snipped yesterday.
So the Lions cut down to their 53-man roster. Any surprises you see in what was besides the ones up there on the graphic that we're looking at?
Besides those
Were
guys?
any of those guys a surprise that got cut? You know, Tavai was rumored.
Rashad Perriman.
Yeah, right.
That's serious. You know, to lose a guy like that. You know, he didn't have a great preseason. He didn't. But $2 million guaranteed contract, that's that's a nice parting gift.
So who are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. It's going to be someone that none of us know.
I mean, really, if you think about where is their offensive production going to come from?
Jared Goff. We're all in on Jared. So hey, Jared, I hope you got big shoulders because they're counting on him.
I mean, they cut Perriman. You saw Tyler Crosby got cut. Tavai, that was been rumored to be cut all camp, got cut. I saw a couple unrestricted free agents made the roster. And it looked clearly Dan Campbell is going to play who we feel is the best, irregardless of how much money is left on the table or not. Yeah. Which direction are these Lions headed in? I mean, can we take a look at that schedule we got up there for the Lions coming up? Wow. So when you look and you see all the moves they made, new quarterback, they got new coaching staff, a ton of changes up front on both sides of the ball. You know, they open up with San Francisco at home. What are you predicting there?
Oh, that's a nice loss.
That's an L.
That's
Week
for
2
sure.
at Green Bay, we don't even got to say that's an L.
Who's playing quarterback there for
I'm
Green
not
Bay?
sure yet. Doesn't even matter at this
Okay.
point. No, but the man's going to be playing, so
Aaron Rodgers reigning MVP of the NFL.
you don't, then you got Baltimore, that's an L. You go to Chicago, that's an L, right? At Minnesota's an L. You're looking at Cincinnati at Detroit. That could be the first win of the year.
0-5 going into Cincinnati.
Yeah, 0-5 going into Cincinnati. We obviously the Lions, the NFL love storylines, so they got you going to the Rams to face old Matt Stafford. That's an L. You got Philly coming in. I'm just
Big
gonna give
L.
him an, I'm just giving him an L. Pittsburgh's an L. At Cleveland's an L.
Sure enough.
Oh boy, Minnesota coming to Detroit. L. Detroit at Denver. L. Arizona at Detroit. We're gonna give them a W there. What do you think? Possibly
Because of the travel, yes. I'll give, because we go to the big toaster oven out there in Arizona, then it's usually an L for the
we
Lions.
never play well out there. Do
Never.
We? No.
So they should win that ball game.
And then you go into Atlanta. That's possibly.
Hey, that's a toss-up right there.
That could be a toss-up.
That could be a barn burner. Now that's something that, Detroit fans who want to get your travel arrangements, that may be the one that you want to go to.
That's the one you're
what is that,
looking
around
at.
Christmas time?
That's the one you're looking at, and you're saying, all right, we got the first pick of the draft, or we got the second or third pick, and the Lions are going out and win the next 3. In typical Detroit fashion, end up with the 9th pick. But, that one at Atlanta, I'm going to chalk that up as a tie. That's what I'm going to do. That's what
I'm saying L. You say tie.
I'm
no
saying
contest.
L tie, and I'm giving 2 L's on the last 2, getting 2. So according to my math, I got 2 wins, 2-15,
2-15,
2-14-1.
No, yeah, you're 2-14-1.
2-14-1 is what I am predicting for your beloved Detroit Lions. What do you think? Am I off?
I'm 2-15.
You're 2-15.
2-15 this year.
So you got to
That's
lose
the over.
at Atlanta.
If they can get to 4 wins, this is a win. Seriously, that's how. There's such a dearth in talent on this particular roster. I know they're searching their waiver wire right now, but it's going to be trouble for the Lions.
I mean,
just let's face it.
All the rules in the NFL favor the offense, and right now, Hawkinson, who I believe is a pretty good weapon. At tight end, but where else are they going to get production from? I mean, that's the thing.
Only 2 tight ends on the roster.
Only 2 on the roster. We got a backup kicker. Do we have a kicker?
I don't think we have a kicker yet.
No, we don't have a kicker either.
I mean, shout out to the Taylor boys, Little League World Series.
Oh, Little League, hold on. We're gonna interrupt
beat
this.
the Lions. As far as winning a world championship.
They do.
Since
they do.
the 50s.
They do have one
They
more
did an
championship.
excellent job.
Yeah, they did. Shout out to Taylor, Michigan. Taylor, Little League World Series. Congratulations.
There's a reason to pop a bottle right there.
Pop the bottle.
That's it.
That's what it's for. So I'm looking at 2-14-1. Those are my bold prediction. What you're at 2-15?
2-15. You know what? We'll live dangerous. We'll say 3-14.
3-14.
Yes.
I mean, really, that's what it really points to, and we could be dead wrong, even though we never have. But we could be dead wrong. But I just don't see anything exciting about this team.
I mean, in this league, you have a rookie right tackle who's struggling. Everybody is seeing it. You have a third-year player in Okuda.
Yeah, he's struggling too.
He's struggling bad as a former number 2 pick.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
2 or 3 pick, which is a very, very important position. Cornerback, then you have a tackle in Penei Sewell, who's struggling with technique right now. And then Jared Goff, who's coming into a new seen for him that is, a guy who has been prone to dinking and dunking along the way. Not saying that's a bad strategy,
it's
because
not like he's got a lot of deep threats this year. He'll be doing a lot of dinking and dunking.
That's cool for sometimes, but right now, I mean, you're going to have to put points on the board and in a hurry, because you saw the schedule, and those quarterbacks that he's going to be facing are going to be putting a lot of points on the board.
It's going to be a long year in Allen Park. Long year in Allen Park. Will it be a long year in Ann Arbor, though? That's the question. Now that football's here, and now we're kicking off the year, and we head over to talk Michigan football, and is this the year for Jim Harbaugh?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that you have a coach here who obviously struggled in years past. They cut his salary. He remained, and let's just be honest here. Coaches don't like taking pay cuts for doing the same job. He had to take a pay cut. He had to say goodbye to a ton of his friends, a lot of his former coaches. And they've got, how many new coaches do they have?
Oh, I believe they got, they redid. I think there was only one holdover on defense maybe, and they revamped a ton of the staff. I know you got some. Do we have some of those coaching changes that we can show?
I mean,
they've revamped many of the rosters. I think
that's Charbonnet right there. He scored a lot of touchdowns for UCLA a couple days ago.
So when you look at those staff changes, right? I mean, college football has a lot to do with continuity. Definitely, they got younger. College football has become a young man's game, young woman's game, because the pace of recruiting and the amount of energy that you must show 365, 7 days a week. So they've gotten younger. They've had a lot of replacements. How does that do for continuity? How does that do for, getting your team ready to play? In years past, historically, when we would talk about Michigan, their preseason, just on reputation alone, would be top 10, top 15, sometimes top 5. This year, very few are talking about them. They're over the Harbaugh magic. Can he put it together? Can he put it together? You got Cade McNamara, quarterback. Best receiver is back. Ronnie Bell is back.
No.
They've had 8 linemen that have had over 120 snaps that have played. They're switching from a 4-3 over to 3-4. They're going to feature Aiden Hutchinson, which I think is an outstanding move. He's a projected top 10 pick. So they brought in Mike McDonald from Harbaugh's brothers coaching.
Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens defense coordinator,
bringing in a whole new defense, right? Running that 3-4, and replacing Don Brown, and
who was that playing quarterback right there?
Was that Cade McNamara?
No, that wasn't Cade McNamara.
No. It wasn't at all. Do we have? Can you throw up Michigan's schedule for us so we can take a look at it?
Man,
who's playing quarterback?
That's the starting quarterback for Tennessee. The Volunteers is who that was.
Is that who that was? Dude, what's his name? Do you remember? So he transferred out.
Yeah. So they just showed Zach Charbonnet, who is now the starter for UCLA.
Correct.
He had about 2-3 touchdowns the other day against Hawaii.
Correct.
And then you see here the quarterback. That ain't Devin. That ain't Gardner. I love Devin Gardner, but that's my man from last year, number 5. He looked good out there, and for some reason, it was like right during the off season. He said, I'm out of here. And he's at Tennessee, and Heupel down there, Josh Heupel just named him the starter for the Tennessee Volunteers. They've gotten younger, to your point, as a staff, and that does bode well in the recruiting process. And I think they got it wrong. I think the NCAA, with not allowing an analyst and a position coach, they're getting too complicated with this, because I think that you do need to manage these kids in 2 different ways. There should be an on-the-field manager and then an off-the-field type of guy for each of these players. And sometimes the recruiter that's out on the field or on the road recruiting these recruits is more of a counselor than he is a position coach. That's what the game is morphing into. Very few Nick Sabans left in the world, and Mel Tucker's guy. Head coaches are those guys. But when you're talking about the staff as a whole, it's difficult to do both with the amount of attention to detail that you have to have and the energy, as you just noted, that you have to have as a younger coach to be able to recruit, but then also to be able to do the instruction on the field. It's a tough job now.
You know, throw that graphic up, please, of the Michigan's production from last year returning. Do you have that? Easy. So when we look at that production, right, and it's kind of a good breakdown of the percentage of their production that's returning. They got 24% of their passing yard production. You see 70% of their productions coming back for the receiving yards, 86% of the offensive line. When you look at some of the stats, it's a pretty good, when you look at the tackles for loss, sacks, interceptions. So there are some playmakers returning. I know they had a ton of guys get drafted. They had a ton of guys go to the league.
Passing yards.
Yeah, passing yards. That's exactly right. So
passing yards, a big deficit.
This is, when the Big Ten, the Big Ten East is a gauntlet. You can compare that to any division and any conference. But when we look at their schedule, right? When we break down their schedule, and let's start, say, with this week with Western Michigan, right? I plan on them. I can see them winning this game. I think it could be closer than people think. They got Washington coming in the next week. Where do you predict for that? Washington coming in?
For me,
yeah.
That's going to be that's going to be a tough one. I think Michigan wins that game.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to start them off at 2-0. Northern Illinois, we're going to start them off at 3-0. Rutgers coming in. That's going to be a tougher game than people think. Greg Schiano's going to get them Scarlet Knights going.
Greg Schiano is ready to roll.
I'm going to give them a W there, though.
I'm going to give them an L.
You give them an L?
I'm saying Schiano's going to come into Ann Arbor and knock them off.
I'm going to give them an L at Wisconsin. Tough place to play, Madison. I don't know if any of you ever visited there. Madison,
no question about it. I'm with you on that.
One of the toughest places to play. At Nebraska, I'm going to give it an L too.
Whoa!
It's going to be that's the game Scott Frost is going to sneak up on you.
If that's I think they win that game, and that's it for Scott. But go ahead.
That's the nail right there.
Yep.
Northwestern at home. L.
Big L.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking they're going to have a tough run. Michigan State, we know that one. L.
Big L.
Indiana at home. L. At Penn State.
Another loss.
At Maryland, we're giving a W. Buckeyes.
I don't know. What do you think about this game?
Let's see.
Can we do a poll? What is the general public at large, Vegas and otherwise, between me, you, and the fence post, who's going to win that ball game right there? The Buckeyes and Michigan.
I don't think I don't know if our lifetime we've seen these two programs further apart.
No.
Right? Actually, Ohio State, really, they've kind of separated themselves from the rest of the Big Ten. But, with the amount of excitement of Jim Harbaugh coming in to where we're at now compared to Ohio State, I mean, we are just miles apart, So I'm predicting Wolverines finish 5-7, maybe 6-6, possibly bowl eligible. Is Harbaugh in trouble after that?
Big trouble.
You think so?
Big trouble. I don't think the fan base is going to be able to take it. They're going to put a lot of pressure on.
So he took a pay cut. He's moved money over to the assistants pool.
Yeah.
As the way they couched it. He's under a lot of stress. I mean, he goes 5-7 this year. You think it's curtains for him?
I don't know how he survives. I mean, people are fed up. They've been fed up, and then when they restructured his contract, they did eliminate a lot of the buyout that he had from the previous years. Lowered his payment, did spread it out amongst the salary, the pool for the assistant coaches. But at best, 2 more seasons in Ann Arbor, given the current circumstances, unless there's a vast turnaround. And, the recruits show that there could be, but the development on the field we have yet to see.
That just fascinates me, how that they have transpired over the last 7 years. I mean, it's really been a remarkable decline, if you ask me. and the way that and what's transpired in Arbor. And I'm shocked because I'll be the first to admit I thought Jim Harbaugh was definitely gonna take them to that next level. So it'll be very interesting to see how this season plays out and how much the fan base will tolerate. I tell you, this is one of the few years that I can recall I'm not getting those August phone calls from U of M fans running their mouths.
Not seeing a ton of maize and blue.
I'm not seeing a ton of people.
I mean, this is game
chirping.
week coming up here. This is game week. I don't see a ton of maize and blue.
We're not exactly chirping either, but I don't see, usually this last couple weeks in August, I get a bunch of phone calls, bunch of text messages, bunch of comments, and
can't wait to see you in East Lansing.
Yep.
We're gonna smoke you. All that good stuff.
I think they've tempered their excitement. Now, speaking of East Lansing, this is it. Game week.
Game week. That's right, baby.
Evanston. Heading into Evanston here Saturday night. We're finally here. Mel Tucker got a full year or so in. Got the spring in. He had a big turnover. 41 new players. 18, I believe, through the portal.
That's right.
Or something gone. You have, a big addition at left tackle, the Horst, Jarrett Horst.
Mean streak.
I mean, you got a lot of Duplain, Allen, Jarvis, Akuri, Samak, Buter, Carrick, Luke Campbell. They've all played. They've all saw time.
Yeah.
You got speedy guys on the outside. You got Naylor and Reed, and Trey Mosley's going to get a lot of time.
Trey Mosley from West Bloomfield.
Yeah,
Lakers.
so definitely the speed on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
You got D-line. You got Panashuk is back. Slade's back. Beasley's had some experience.
Beasley.
You got Jalen Hunt and Drew Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Belleville kid.
Yeah, yep. And then you got the linebackers have improved, I think.
There's no question.
Yeah, Van Summerlin and Klein and Noah Harvey's got experience. I mean, there's going to be, you go to the back end in the secondary. You got Gervins played, then you got a transfer. You got Xavier Henderson, and then you got the kid from Alabama, Tennessee. I don't mean to call him kid. I know there's a couple. You got Michael McDowell. You got who am I missing? There's another corner.
Dowell.
Yeah. Dowell, yes.
Dowell.
Michael Dowell.
Yes.
You got Connor Hayward's going to play tight end, H-back. Big question is who's going to start.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, who's going to start at quarterback, Russo or Payne? What are you thinking?
Peyton Thorne. So I'm thinking that, between Anthony Russo and Thorne, in my humble opinion, is this too close to count. I mean, this is why they pay Mel Tucker the bucks that they pay him, so that he can make those decisions. It's watching those guys closely. I mean, they're two scrimmages, and in practice, it's really a tough call. You've got a guy in Russo who's a 6-year senior, had a ton of experience and success at Temple. He transfers in. Thorne is a guy who very mobile, has been comfortable with the system here at Michigan State. Naperville, Illinois guy. I think he's a favorite for a lot of players on the team because he's a good guy to be around, and they know him, they're familiar. So, I don't think there's a wrong choice here because, I think they're both going to play.
I think they're both going to play too. And if I had to give the nod, I would just guess it's Russo, and that's just a guess. Can you throw up the production, last year's production, easy, real quick? Let's take a look at last year's production, and you look and see we got a lot of production coming back in the receiving yards, O-line starts, sacks, tackles for lost tackles. I mean, there's
turnovers,
some
though.
Turnovers,
got to
improve on
Shakur
turnovers,
Brown's
got to improve
gone.
on interceptions.
Yeah.
So there's some production coming back. How that will look is still yet to be seen. How all these young men gel together. They open up with a tough one, right? You're at Northwestern, under the lights, in Evanston.
Friday night, 9 p.m.
Winners of 2 of the last 3 Big Ten West conferences. I mean, Pat Fitzgerald, in my opinion, is one of the top coaches in the country.
Without question.
What the job that he's done over there.
He's going to have him ready to play.
Always play hard. They got the transfer quarterback, Ryan Helinski. He beat out the kid from Clemson, Hunter Johnson. They say the best offensive tackle in the Big Ten, and Peter Skoronski. So they got a lot of depth returning on their D line. Ton of guys coming back. So they're going to play hard. They're going to play tough.
Always
they
do.
always play tough. It's always a battle. And they're just one of those teams that we always have a hard time defending because them short dinking and dunking and, it just drives us
shallow
bananas.
crossing routes.
Yes,
So if we could
crossing.
tell everybody on defense that's listening,
Underneath.
the shallow cross.
Underneath.
Watch that. That's what they're looking for at Northwestern. They always
Linebackers.
have, always will.
Underneath.
That's right. We
They're
have the
gonna
speed to
create
play them
mismatches.
man to man, which I love. I think that Michigan State's got the skill set to be able to play man to man, but you got to watch that under that.
So we
that
want to be
shallow
realistic in our expectations, right? I mean, it's Mel's second year, Coach Tucker's second year. What are we expecting out of them? What does our schedule look like?
Well, let's check it on out.
So we're going into Evanston Friday night. Where's your head at, Jason? Talk to us. You're going to be in the booth on the
I'm
broadcast?
actually not.
Oh, you're not? That's right.
First game I'm missing in 16 years of broadcasting so that I can go see my son play.
Family first.
Family first.
Absolutely. You know what? Coach Tucker wouldn't want it any other way.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. That's why I love them.
So when you look at their schedule, I believe we're going to go into Evanston and we're going to win.
We need that. We absolutely need it.
That is my
because
prediction.
on paper, you don't see that. Because on paper, you don't see all the transfers that we have not named on purpose. Some of them not on purpose. But they're going to go into Northwestern. And Northwestern, they're looking at Michigan State as an unknown commodity. I saw
they're unknown to us.
Yeah, everybody's unknown in the first game. So what you have to do in order to be successful is you have to out-physical the other opponent. You got to get that quarterback on the ground, create turnovers, control the line of scrimmage, and control the clock. That's the whole thing, the time of possession, and win on third down.
And, last year, was one of the worst years we had per rush, yards per rush.
That's over with.
That's what I agree with you.
I can guarantee you that. That is over with.
Coach has made it a point to get into that portal, to get the old linemen, everybody we got now, 6'7", 6'7", 6'6", 6'5", 6'7". We're going to look the part. We're going to look the part.
We're going to look the part, and we got nasty, too.
As two former offensive linemen will tell you, it's all about winning in trenches.
Yes.
Do we go into Evanston and win?
It's going to be a close game. I think we could do it.
I do.
That's for sure. They could pull off the win. I don't think the Northwestern, the Wildcats, have some ridiculous amount of talent, but it is going to be a dogfight because they don't make mistakes. They execute well. They get the ball out, and they make plays. And it's about being able to sustain that over a period of time on the road. It's going to be under the lights on a Friday night. In one of those, Michigan State, I'm telling you, man, people don't know about those. The night versus the 12 o'clock kicks versus the 8 o'clock kicks. It's two different atmospheres.
If you're on the road, you want to play at noon.
You do.
If you're playing the late game, crowd's got a chance to get juiced up. The late game, too juiced. That's why a lot of ADs, a lot of leaderships at universities kind of frown on these night games. But the 3:30 is the sweet spot for you to have a home game. That's where you get the most attention from the crowd. Although I'm a big fan of the night games.
We love the night games.
I do. I love the night games.
Reminds you of high school. And it's just fun. It's just absolutely fun. But it could be too fun for the home fans if you're on the road and make it very tough and very loud. But they're going to be okay in Northwestern's stadium. And I think they can come out with a victory. And that would be a huge win.
We're going to be up here one day where we're going to see that again in the Rose Bowl, but today I'm only picking one game. I'm not going through their whole schedule. To be determined on my end. If you'd like to go through their whole schedule, you can.
Then that's a waste of time for me.
It is.
We're trying to go 1-0.
We're going to try and go 1-0. She's got to go 1-0 this week. That's it.
That's it.
So
know it.
You heard it here first. The Michigan State Spartans will walk into Evanston, and we're unbiased. We're not homers. We've looked at the tape. We've studied the film. We broke down the analytics. Michigan State will walk into Evanston and win their season opener, bringing home a huge victory and a crossover game, a rare season opening Big Ten crossover game.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I like the way you think.
That's what we're going to do. Speaking of what we're going to do, very interesting. Michigan State University tomorrow at 12 o'clock has posted a public announcement. A public announcement. Why are you holding up that bottle?
What are you talking about, man?
What are you?
Well,
You're just celebrating something.
I ain't celebrating nothing.
It ain't.
Huh?
It ain't over till it's over.
What?
Anyway.
What are you talking about, man?
12 o'clock tomorrow, Michigan State University is holding a meeting where there is going to be a personnel decision where reading reports from the Detroit News and Free Press all point to Alan Haller becoming the 20th athletic director in Michigan State University's history. If those reports are accurate, Jason, what are your feelings on the hire?
First of all, let me say this. You know, I love Michigan State. I love Alan Haller and everything that he stands for. I think that, you know, all everyone wanted was a process that was fair and equitable for all parties involved. And it's just, to me, how do you not, if you ever met Alan, how do you not love him? Born and raised in the city of Lansing, Sexton, J.W. Sexton graduate, goes on to Michigan State, plays at Michigan State, plays in the NFL for about 4 or 5 years, and he comes back and he devotes his life as a police officer first at Michigan State University Police, and works his way up to be a lieutenant, and then comes over into the athletic department where he spent 10 years. I mean, and this is a guy who's been under, you know, Mark Hollis. This is a guy who's been under Bill Beekman. He was involved in the coaching search.
Coach hired both D'Antonio
and Mel Tucker.
He has an intricate understanding and involvement in all the facility upgrades and the
that are needed.
Yeah, and the strategic planning going forward. He knows the university pretty well. So if you're just a regular casual outsider and you look at this process, are you saying, oh, there goes Michigan State again, hiring from the inside? This whole national search was a sham. What would you say to that?
I would say that, you know, be careful, because things may look a certain way and not appear. They may appear. What's the little tag on the mirror back in the day on your car? Things may be closer than they appear. Be careful, you know, if you're changing lanes. So be careful of what things look like. It may not be exactly what you think. I think that Michigan State did a heck of a job. They did scour the nation. This was a true national search. From all the reports that I've seen, all the calls, whatever that I've had, you know better than me, Brian.
Yeah, this was not a Michigan State inside job. This was a national search. There was a search firm hired. There were legitimate Power 5 candidates. There was a search committee. There were multiple input sessions, multiple people involved. And, you know, I got to give credit to President Stanley, you know, that
without question,
putting this process together and really making everybody finally, because we read those reports about, you know, about Izzo and all that kind of.
Took a lot of heat, didn't he?
Yeah, for Izzo didn't, I'm saying, but Stanley did.
No, Stanley took a lot of heat.
All that talk, and people were questioning the process. And, you know, early on I was obviously, you know, had my opinions about the process, but it definitely, this was not an inside job at all.
No way.
From all indications and everybody that I talked to, Alan Haller absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Laid out a vision for the university, for the athletic department, a path forward that involved multiple facets, from, you know, student development to equity and inclusion to a strategic plan and vision that he has for the university, for the departments, for the certain different programs. And by all accounts and all indications that I got is that he absolutely dominated, and this was well deserved. So, obviously we're a little biased, right? We've known Alan. Alan's a Spartan dog. He's a brother. But at the end of the day, we want what's in the best interest of Michigan State University. I mean, that's what we want.
If another candidate were to beat him out fair and square,
Absolutely.
then God bless. Hey, him or her, we would love to have you if you could beat him out fair and square in front of everybody.
And
we just wanted to be in a position where everyone can see. That's it. And that's what we got. And
hopefully
that's why
tomorrow,
Alan has so much support that he's had.
Coming from somebody who knows experience, it's not done till it's done, right? So it's pending board approval if those reports are accurate. And I
got faith in the board. I got more faith than you do.
I'm just whoa. Excuse me. Excuse me. I just know the process.
You know it.
I know the process.
All too well. Been a little jaded.
It's pending board approval. It's always pending board approval. Don't count your chickens till they hatch.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Never.
But Alan Haller, and we were the first ones to say that whoever was chosen, that we would get behind, and that we wanted all Spartans going in the same direction, and that was the goal, no matter who it was. And
going in the same direction.
Everybody. So hopefully those reports are accurate. Hopefully it gets confirmed tomorrow, and we begin to move this university forward. And if so, our deepest and sincerest congratulations to a fellow Spartan dog, one in Alan Haller. So pending board approval.
Here.
Again, pending board approval. Congratulations, Alan, and we wish you the best of luck. And we're here to do and support you and do anything we can to help you and help the program.
What's going on, man? All right.
Maybe 12:15 tomorrow.
Can we go down to Dallas? By way of
we
Chicago.
Do have a
Proviso.
legend.
We talk
do
to
have
our boy?
a legend joining us, though. And I'm gonna tell you, I had the pleasure of playing next to this young man for 2 years. Played alongside of him, and let me tell you, first of all, one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet, and second of all, one of the best damn offensive linemen I have ever watched play the game. And I still, to this day, God bless him, I don't know too many people that are bigger than this man. You think 25 years later, right? Bigger, faster, stronger?
Yeah.
Put anybody up next to him. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome. No, he's not here yet. Typical Flo. Typical Flo.
Man, you see how you just jumped on him like that? Typical.
Flo.
You gave him all the accolades.
Flo, here I am sitting there talking about you, Flo.
Oh, man. Then you going to tell he ain't here, and you jumped on him. Typical Flo.
I mean,
Have we not come further than this?
No. Right under the bus. It's got to go right under the bus.
Man.
You got some great Flozell stories.
Flo, man. We're going to have him set the record straight today about this
Thank God
this
he's on
Nick
TV.
Saban incident that happened in the winter conditioning. There's conflicting reports. Did he or did he not take a run at Coach Saban? Did he yell expletives? Did he or did he just passively keep running? That's the question we all want to know.
I'll tell you what, he's one of the biggest, most physical, strongest offensive linemen I've ever watched. There's a picture.
Oh, look. There's a picture of my old buddy. That's my old podcast co-host right there. You see that?
That was me
Not
100 pounds ago.
Not 44.
63.
Number 63.
100
number
pounds
one of your
ago.
hearts.
Look how he dwarfs me. I mean, it's unbelievable. He is a massive human being.
He used to be a massive human being.
He's doing very well, He's done very well for himself. He's Very intelligent.
Real estate.
Yeah, done very well. Keeps in touch. He stayed humble, grounded over the years. He's always been one of those guys who'll hang out with anybody, talk to anybody, cool with everybody. But one thing, don't piss him off.
No.
Do not upset him.
Nobody wants to take Flo off.
What do you remember that Penn State game? Was it 96? 97. How many yards did we have rushing that game? We came out. They were ranked like
97.
They were ranked like 5th in the country and
4th. Don't take anything away from that team, that Nittany Lion
team. They were 4th in
team.
the country, and we had
Look at him. Wow, man, you see that center?
I remember that game, 49-14. I believe the score of that game was.
2 running backs over 200 yards in that game.
We had Cedric Irvin
and Mark Renaud.
And Mark Renaud both had over 200 yards. I remember it was
That's Renaud right there. Look at that.
Wow, they were ranked 4th at that time, huh? Yeah, we pounded. We pounded them that game. We ran
that stadium was going absolutely bananas.
Ran that ball right down their throat. I'll tell you.
Curtis Enos.
Yeah, he was tough, too. He was tough.
Yeah,
so when you watch Flo's career over the years, the 12 years in the NFL, when you were, 5-time Pro Bowl selection, what do you remember any specific? He was on the field when Emmett broke the record. He was blocking, so he played, I believe, 11 years for the Cowboys, 1 year for the Steelers.
Yep.
And he was on the field when Emmett broke the record. He had an outstanding career. I remember watching him one time, and they just kept panning him one-on-one against Strahan at the Giants.
Yeah.
Just absolutely dominated him. So, one thing about Flozell, everybody that knows Flozell, he's quiet, gentle, but do not upset him. But where do you rank him in terms of offensive lineman at Michigan State?
Michigan State history?
Yeah.
He's at the top, man. Come on now. There's not many. There's guys who have had more accolades that played a lot before Flozell, but in the modern era of football, I can't think of one who's better. Jack Conklin is a guy who comes to mind in the modern era who was a walk-on, who works his way not only to be a scholarship player, but also a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. But when you see those two standing one next to one another,
I was gonna say that
it's crazy. Like Flo dwarfs.
When you saw,
Jack Conklin.
Conklin was all pro. He wasn't Pro Bowl. He was
all pro as a rookie.
And when I saw him stand next to Conklin, I was wow. Wow, that's when you realize, how massive Flozell is, and he looks good too. He looks good.
Oh yeah.
He just looks like big, physical. Like he's still
first guy off the bus, right?
He still looks like he can play.
Yeah.
He honestly does.
Yeah. It was his own. Whatever he wanted to do, he could do.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he was, and is to this day. He's hard to handle, man. If he wants to, be an all-pro, he can be an all-pro. If he wants to be late for a podcast, he can be late. If he
wants to be late for a podcast, he can be late for a podcast. There's no question about that.
He can do that. He must have a lot of things going on.
Is he coming on? We didn't find him? Yep. Flo, this was your big chance here. This was it right here. Your stardom. Take it to the next level here.
We're going to find him.
We can't find him.
We're going to find him.
Why don't we jump ahead then to Nostradamus?
Hey, Flo, we waiting on you, man.
Dude, you said 8:30.
Did you hear that? What did I say?
You said 8:30.
What time is it, Flo? Eastern time.
You got me hooked up on the thing right now, or I gotta call the number.
You got to call that number. Click on it.
Oh, he's on Central Time.
Let me call the number.
Hey, we talked about it. See, the big man said, "You said 8:30."
Oh, so we're late.
We're late. No, he's thinking Central Time.
Yeah, I had to be thinking Central Time. We should have cleared that
That's
up.
what happens. These guys born in Chicago, living in Dallas. He's stuck in Central Time.
We should have cleared that up. Although, you would think we're on Eastern time zone, and Flozell could do whatever he wants, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at
When
all.
Solemn said it, I didn't. Hey, Flo, just so you know, man, we good. I got mind control over Debo.
What
It's
about
a great movie. When
man.
he comes around, I stop talking. When he leave,
Remember him and Ike Reese?
I talk again.
Him and Ike Reese.
Him and Ike Reese.
Yeah.
Oh, love
Never
Ike.
mess with Ike.
Love Ike. There he is.
There
There he is. He's out there partying.
Flozell Adams, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. How you doing?
Can't hear you.
Good. So what
Uh-uh.
y'all talking about?
We're talking about you, man. How you doing? Tell us what you're up to these days.
Man, just Texas handling business, taking it easy, man, in the real estate business.
And is most of your real estate down in Texas, Chicago? Do you do any at home at all?
Not mostly, and everything's in Texas.
Most of it's in Texas. Good,
Yes.
good. So what do you think of what are your early tell us about your first of all, you played 11 years with the Cowboys, correct? And 1 year with the Steelers?
Yes.
Do you have any great memories? One or two great memories, say, with Dallas that stick out in your mind? That you just was just a great moment as a Cowboy.
The first thing that popped in my mind,
We can't hear you. I'm sorry. We can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you go.
I said one of the great moments I can think of right now is when Emmett had broke the rushing record. He played against the Seattle Seahawks one year. So we knew going to the game that he needed 103 yards or something like that. And Seattle Seahawks was coming back at us saying, hey, we're not going to let him. We're going to stack the whole defense on him. It's not going to happen. So, at this point, we were in a huddle. Emmett wasn't really paying too much attention about it, but we were like, hey, we need 50 yards, we need 40 yards, we need 30 yards. And so the Seattle was like, we got to stop him. So eventually they end up running left 4 yards, and we got it. Boom. That was a rushing.
Talk a little closer.
A great accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. You was out there for the NFL rushing record. You're in the huddle for Emmitt Smith to do that.
That's incredible.
That's an
I mean,
incredible
think about that.
accomplishment.
Will that record ever be broken, Flo?
Well, it looks like no current NFL players are any close to it. So, no, I say not in the next 10 years or so. I don't see anything unless they got a young guy that's going to bust out guys for 8-9 years in a row. But right now, that's not happening. They can't change. These running backs don't last very long, let alone from back in the day.
No, they don't last away. I mean, I'm looking at Frank Gore's 2,400 yards away, but I don't know if he'll get to it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, a guy ain't getting 30 touches a game playing 12 years nowadays. You're seeing a lot of NFL teams going, they got a third down back, second down. But it's by committee. I mean, the league is just too physical to give a guy. Unless you're Derrick Henry, you're just not getting that ball 25, 30 times a game running. It doesn't happen
They've
anymore.
devalued the position since Emmitt's day. They really have. They don't really invest a lot of money and time. You don't see a lot of first-round draft picks or high draft picks in general that are running backs anymore. They get guys who are very productive in the free agency as rookies because they know that there's such a short lifespan on running backs in the NFL. They bring the heat all the time.
Hey, Flo, who was your biggest challenge to block? Who did you hate playing against?
Not really playing against a lot of people. Everybody thinks that defensive end, the first names, I don't know top. I say that defensive end of Washington, number one.
I'm sorry, speak a little closer. You're breaking up.
Yeah, the Chase guy from DC, or the defensive end from Cleveland. They talk about all those guys, but as an offensive lineman and other offensive linemen like me will say, hey, it's the guys that you don't know about, the ones you need to worry about. Because those guys are the ones dangerous. Because when you look at that film, you're like, man, who is this guy? You're looking at the roster report, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this guy's nothing. When you start watching film, you're like, oh.
It's pretty good,
I got
huh?
my hands cut out for him.
Talk about Bill Romanowski.
Yeah.
Remember him? How was he?
Yeah, Bill, no, I'd have to go against him one, but he won a couple of times. And he was like, try to hit me in the ribs one time, and I kicked him in the balls. But that's your match. I'm like, no, he lets you hit me like that and then going to walk away. That's not going to happen. But I always get my props that this guy named, he's a longtime Giant named O.C. Manora.
Yeah, O.C. Manora, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Man, those guys some bad news, man. I mean, every time I win, because I'm not scared of him, guy, but man, he gave me fits. I gave him fits. It was all war going against that guy. So, that was one of the guys that top accomplished pass rusher in the NFL, and he doesn't get any recognition.
He never got the recognition that Strahan got. Did you block Strahan much?
Strahan was on the other side. He played against the right tackle.
Yeah. So, did you originally start out as a right tackle and got moved to left?
Well, when I got to, it's a funny story. When I got to Dallas, Hudson Hawk, the offensive line coach, I got drafted, got to minicamp. He's like, we're going to move you to right tackle. And, I was like, okay. He was like, you can't play left tackle in the NFL. I was like, all right, coach, whatever, do what you do. So I was at right tackle. And then they put me in right guard for like 2 plays during training camp, during practice. And then I practiced at right tackle. I was second string. And then the first game of the season, Eric Williams got kicked out in the second play, and they put me in the game against Andre Wadsworth, who was the #1 pick. And against him, did a pretty good job. I was tooting my own horn about that. But then Eric came back next week, and they put me back on a kickoff return.
You want kickoff return?
Kickoff return.
Oh, man. Hey, we were #1 in the NFL when I was on kickoff return, baby.
I bet. Who's going to be the wedge buster on that one? Remember those days? They don't even allow that anymore. The wedge buster.
So
they don't like,
you played with.
Like it, not one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't like special teams. Is no joke. I don't see why that's special. All the new rules they implement because of that stuff, I totally agree with it. Because guys are getting knocked down, and bodies all messed up. I'm like, don't never ever do that to me again. I would never want to be on that wedge. Hell no.
I agree with.
How about field goal block?
I agree, but I agree with that special teams. Those kickoff, kick return, punt return. Those are just waiting to blow people up and get people hurt. I totally agree.
Braveheart.
I mean,
running down the hill.
You change the rules on those and make the game, the way it's supposed to be played.
Flo, I've got a question for you because there's something that you, me, and Solemn have in common, and that's besides being former offensive lineman. Although you and I still kind of look that way, and he doesn't. It's not the fact that we're
free safety.
It's not. Yeah, you look like a free safety. It's not the fact that we're minority, even though he thinks he's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's that all three of us, unfortunately, and it's a serious note. We all three have lost our mother. And I know that you lost your mother first when we were in college still, before I lost mine. And, you were able to come back to Michigan State and donate money in order to name the locker room at the stadium.
The
in
north
her
end
name.
zone. Yep.
Talk about a little bit like what that meant for you to be able to do that for Mrs. Rachel Adams.
God rest her soul. We lost him? So
there he goes.
Sorry, that signal, I don't know what's going on.
You out in them sticks.
I'm glad you're prepared for our interview.
It's all good. Hey, this
We're
is
just
a nice
happy
practice.
to have you.
Here we are. So talk about you being able to donate the money that you were. I think it was $1.5 million in order to name the locker room at Spartan Stadium after your mother, Rachel Adams.
It was one of those things that it took me a couple of years to thought of, and actually, Brian, had introduced it to me, how long did it take? About a year or two for me to think about it, Brian? Something like
Yeah,
that.
you did. And then we went in. I never forget. We went in to see Coach D. It was 2013. That was when we were just getting good. We were playing Michigan. You were the honorary captain. I think we were 5-1, 6-1. They were 5-1, 6-1, and they were running their mouth. And I just remember, us walking into Coach D's office, and the first thing he said to you was, I'm not here to ask you for money. You're a Spartan. This is your house. You're always welcome. You want to give, you give. You don't, you don't. You'll always be welcome here. Your family. And I thought that really, really resonated with you. Like he wasn't trying to sell you. And I just remember asking him, really a stupid question. I go, "Hey, we ready, Coach?" He looked at me. He goes, "They just want to talk. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit." I remember him saying that.
Yes, it was a very defining moment.
It was.
At the time, when I was going through that stuff, I came back for that. Because, while I was playing for 13 years, I never really got to go back to the stadium or anything. Because, obviously football season and college season's going on. So I think after that game, when we went to the locker room, I actually thought they did some refurbishments to it. And I was like, man, it still look like it.
Man, just so for everybody that's listening, the football locker room at the stadium never changed from 1902 until Flozell donated the money in 2013-14, around that time.
Yep, north end zone.
It was horrendous.
Flo, it's great talking to you, brother. Thank you for joining us. We need to have you on set so people can actually see you. We want to bring you on board, but we really appreciate you joining us. We're going to see you at some games this year?
Yeah, I'll be at the homecoming game.
Are you going to be at the Northwestern? Oh, no, you're in Dallas. You're not going to Northwestern. What's the score Friday? Give us a prediction.
This Friday, I would say against Northwestern. I like when they say they're putting Big Ten games up front. So I would say 21-14.
You
All right.
You heard the news about Alan Haller?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
he's heard that news.
How do you feel about that?
What is that?
Man.
I know you're happy like we all are, man.
It's having a good time.
That's it. All right, Flo. Yep.
We can't wait for it either.
We can't. Nice seeing you, brother. Great catching up.
Man.
We'll catch up with you this year. Take care. Flozell Adams, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Flo.
What a great guy, man.
Awesome
great
guy.
Let's jump to two real things. In memoriam, I think
Yes.
we lost two great Spartans this week. One being Jim Pignataro, who was the director of student athlete support services. Jim Pignataro was a great Spartan, great Spartan, great man. Helped all of our players take that next step and develop as men, and he's a huge loss to the MSU community.
Without
Our
question.
condolences to the Pignataro family.
Helped me, man. Sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have graduated without him.
May he rest in peace. A good man. He's a good man. Another one was a tragedy we had this week was a young lady by the name of Olivia Long. She was the captain of our rowing team. She got in a car accident. Thoughts and prayers are with Olivia and her family. May she rest in peace. Just a tragedy. We run around all day and we run, and then you see things like this that make you pause and count your blessings. And may you rest in peace, Olivia. And
prayers
and
to
Jim.
both families, the Pignataro family and Olivia Long's family. It really saddens everyone's heart that we lost two great Spartans. But may you rest in peace.
May you rest in peace. We're going to end our show here with our Nostradamus and Lock of the Week. Easy. Got Nostradamus. What do you got for us?
Nostradamus. So my pick is this. This is what I'm going to say. Over there in Lincoln, Nebraska, Scott Frost, after that loss this last week against Brett Bielema in the fighting the Illini in Illinois, you do not make it 12, 13 games. he won't make it for the entire season. I think that he'll be gone by the Michigan game.
Wow. That's your prediction.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, every week I'm going to give you a lock of the week now that the college football lines are out. And, I got a dandy for you week one. Just dial 1-800. I'm just kidding.
1-900 for you. Go ahead.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are heading into Tallahassee. Florida State Seminoles are coming off of an off year. And the first game of the year, nobody knows what to expect. That's a tough place to play. Your first game of the year, Notre Dame going into Tallahassee. The Seminoles are getting 7.5 points. You take your 7.5 and you call it a day. That's a winner. That's 1-0. Every week I'm going to give you one. So you take Florida State plus 7.5 at home. That's my lock of the week. For Jason Strayhorn, I am Brian Musalam.
Good night.
You are
God bless.
watching Inside the Locker Room. Good night. God bless. Go Green.